Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz, and this is a tank that you've already seen me review, but I'm going to do it again because this is the Blitz version, and who doesn't want to not review the Panzer II? So, the Panzer II on Blitz is in some ways stronger, in some ways less strong as the regular World of Tanks version. Just looking at it here, 10% protection, 19% firepower, 24% shot effectiveness, and 62% maneuverability. So looking at the protection, 160 hit points, which compared to the T7, it's more than that, 225. Let's look at the micro mouse, which has got 210. Any other tier 2s? Yes, the Tetrarch, which has got 210 hit points. So it does have a fair amount of hit points down at tier 2. Let's just have a look at a couple more lights. Let's look, Light Tank America. Yeah, actually, 220 for the T2 Light. Let's look at the T2 Medium. 230 with the upgraded turret gives 260. So it has the same as a T2 Medium in hit points, which is a fair amount. Let's have a look. BT2 with the upgraded turret means that you will get 250 HP. T28 or T26, 270 with the upgraded turret. 270. That's a fair amount of health there. It's only 10 more than the Panzer II here, though. What about the cruiser with the upgraded turret? With the upgraded cruiser, 230. That's not much. The medium, 280 with the upgraded turret. 280 HP again. Wow, okay. Let's have a look at the Hargo. 260 HP. I suppose this is showing... Yeah, this is showing maxed out. With the stock turret, 220, yeah. Let's have a look at the Chini. Chini only has its default turret, so 280 hit points. That's a fair amount of hit points, but yes, the Panzer II is in the sort of middle ground of hit points. It's not the top of hit points, but then again, it's not the bottom. It's actually rather high on hit points, which is nice because it's a Panzer II. But looking at it, hull armor, 30, 20, 15. Front of the turret, 30, 20, 20. Yeah, the armor hasn't changed. It's still 30 at the front, 20 sides, 15 at the rear, with 30, 20, 20. And of course, it still retains the hit point, which is this, the gun mantlet, which is not very strong, and things will easily be able to penetrate through the front of the Panzer II's gun mantlet. But with some angling, yeah, the front of the hull is still very, very strong. Panzer II not as effective in Blitz as it is on the PC because, yeah, when you go into sniper view, the places that you can easily penetrate are shown in red, so people will know to shoot there. Or well, the bits that you can't penetrate are shown in red, the bits that you can penetrate are shown normally. So, yeah, people will know that that is where you shoot, and also I think the viewports is also where you shoot. But yeah, it still retains the regular armor. So yeah, it's still very strong. Weighs 9.50 tons with a load limit of 10. So 10.80, so you don't have that much room to spare. I fully loaded mine with modules. Well, mine's a fully upgraded Panzer II, obviously. It's only tier 2. And I also have equipment fit. And with the equipment fit, it is getting towards the load limit. But, yeah, other than that. So you don't have as much room to play around with here. But it has got a 160 horsepower engine, which means you go at 40 kilometers an hour, which is, not that bad. Excuse me. It's not that bad. It is, after all, only tier 2. So, yeah, 40 kilometers an hour, yeah, that's fine. 49 degrees per second traverse, which is very good. 44 for the turret, which is very good as well. So the traverse speeds are very good. Let's look at the turret here. Well, let's look at the engine, even 160 horsepower, 20% chance of fire and impact, 550 weight. You can't upgrade the engine that you have is what you get, and that's fine. There it is, the Maybach HL 62 TRM. As for the suspension, 10.80 tons load limit, 49 degrees per second, and weighs 2,900 kilograms. The turret here, 30, 20, 20, 44 degrees per second. View range 230, yeah, that's fine. Weighs 950 kilograms. The stock turret, only 220 meters view range. Worse side and rear armor, and a worse traverse speed. And here's the stock gun that you have. It's the 2 centimeter Kampfwagen Cannon 38, 8 shells in the magazine, and that's a problem that I'll go over. 0.13 seconds for a shell loading of a 2-shell burst, with a 7-second load speed for reloading the entire magazine. Only 23 millimeters with AP, which is not very good. 46 with APCR. It's the same gun on the Panzer II-D, but better. But it's still not very good. 23 millimeters of penetration. That's terrible. Average damage 12. Yeah, you're used to that if you've used any 2 centimeter guns. Horrible dispersion, 0.57, but it does have a particularly good aim time of 1.6 seconds, and it does only weigh 70 kilograms. But here's the upgraded gun, the 2 centimeter Flak 38. It has got 8 shells in the magazine, which I will go over after I've gone over the rest of the gun. 0.13, yeah, for reloading for loading a burst of 2 shells with a 6-second entire magazine reload. Average pen 39, which is very good at tier 2. 51 with APCR. Average damage with AP is 12. Yeah, APCR again 12. Anybody using a 20mm will be used to that. Still not very good dispersion, 0.45, but it does still retain the particularly good aim time of 1.6 seconds, and it weighs 110 kilograms. But this is the thing that makes it not as good on Blitz as it is in the PC. And that's the amount of shells in the magazine. Anyone that's watched the Panzer II review, and if you haven't, then go watch it so that you can see the comparison. Anyone that's already played the Panzer II will know that it usually has 10 shells in the magazine instead of 8. And that is a major drawback, because even though it's only 2 less shells, that's still 24 average damage that you're missing out on. Many times I have got an enemy down to 12 health when those 2 extra shots would have made the difference between winning or losing, staying alive or dying, getting a kill, or letting them live for somebody else to kill them. And that's a particularly bad thing, because 10 shells, yeah, you can fire off your burst of 10, that's fine. 8 shells, it's just not enough. It's just not enough shells. I mean, 8 shells in the magazine is still a lot of shells, yeah, sure, but not as much as 10. And 10 really is a good number, because you carry a grand total of 320 20mm shells. And even if you don't carry 10 rounds, you still carry 8, you'll still have enough for complete magazines, but I don't know, it's just the 10 shells in the magazine is much more beneficial than only 8. And I can see why they've changed it to only 8, because yeah, the Panzer II is a particularly good tank, but having only 8 shells in the magazine sort of nerfs it, and that's probably what they were going for. But yeah, it's just a shame that they did that, because yeah, those 8 shells really will be problematic to you. But here's the fully upgraded Panzer II. Yeah, you're all used to this. It still carries a lot, around 320 total shells. I still carry around 30 rounds of APCR, because if you look in the American tech tree here, guess what's still in the tank destroyer line? Yeah, that's right, the T-18. This little booger is still around. Here he is. Look at him, thinking he's all that. Stupid T-18. But yeah, so he's still around, and he still has the 75mm howitzer M1A1 with 20mm of high explosive penetration with 200 average damage. Now, it's not quite as bad because it can't one-shot things as easily with high explosive, but it'll still take down many tanks to very low health. So I still carry around the 30 rounds of APCR. I still do that on PC as well, but those are for French tanks now. This is specifically for T-18s because there are no French tanks yet. These rounds are specifically for T-18s if I really need to kill them off. But yeah, so that's why I'm carrying around 30 rounds of APCR. But looking at your equipment feat, you have a choice of 8. I've set this thing up. I literally copy and pasted my loadout from PC to Blitz, which is why I've got coated optics, binos, and toolbox. But of course, looking at it, light sprawliner, you're at tier 2, you have T-18s, probably not a bad idea fitting a light sprawliner. You could go with Camonet if you want. Camonet and binos you probably could work with. The top 2 centimeter does have particularly good penetration. I mean, yeah, you could go with that. But enhanced springs for suspension durability, yeah, once again, you could also go with that if you want. Improve vents for plus 5% to all crew skills, yeah, not a bad idea again. You can definitely go with that if you want. Enhanced gun lane drive, you don't need it. 1.6 seconds is a decent enough aim time. It's really the dispersion that's the problem, not the aim time, so don't bother fitting that. Then, of course, toolbox is just always useful, so yeah. There you go, you can go with that if you want. So yeah, I've basically copy and pasted, like I said, so yeah, coated optics, binos, and toolbox, that's what I've set it up as originally, that's what it's going to be here. Could fit standard fuel for plus 3 to engine power and traverse, turret traverse speed, then sure, go ahead and fit that. Plus 3 to crew mastery for a chocolate bar, yeah sure, go ahead and put that on if you want, and protective kit for plus 15% to protection of the crew, 10% to speed of module repair, 20% to fire protection, and 10% to ammo rack and fuel tank durability. Go ahead and put that on if you want. I don't use provisions, but if you want, go ahead and put them on. Now you've got your consumables, which I've set up as the default repair kit, first aid kit, fire extinguisher. You don't get adrenaline on the Panzer II because it is an autoloader, so of course you won't benefit from it because it's not a single shot gun, it's an autoloader, so yeah, autoloaders don't get that, but they still do get the engine power boost for plus 20% engine power. So that lasts for 15 seconds with a 75-second cooldown, then sure, go ahead and put that on if you want. Then you've got the multi-purpose restoration pack to extinguish, fire, repair all damaged modules and heal all crew members, and it has a cooldown of 90 seconds. All these things can be used multiple times during a battle, but of course the more times you use it, the more you'll have to pay, because the more amount that you're using it. I'm fairly certain that's how it works. But the reason I haven't gone with a multi-purpose restoration pack is because I find these things to be more beneficial, because if you think about it, sure, you can repair all damaged modules and heal all crew and extinguish any fires you have, but then you have a 90-second cooldown before you can use it again. If you have your track destroyed and you really need to get out of there, you use it to repair your track, you drive off, and then you get set on fire. You can't put out the fire because you've used a multi-purpose restoration pack. Which is why I go with the individual ones, because you can repair your track with that, and if you get set on fire, you can use the automatic fire extinguisher. You don't have a large cooldown for this. And at tier 2, the fire damage will probably kill you. So that's why I've gone with the default consumables down there. So, yes, that is the Panzer II. I'm using the camo for the undeniable advantage, because, you know, why not? But, of course, you do have your standard camouflages, you know, yeah, we're all familiar with those. So yeah, there's the Panzer II in Blitz. In some ways stronger because it does have the inflated hit points, but in many ways more nerfed because everyone knows where to shoot it because of when you're in sniper view. Yeah, the bits that you can't penetrate are highlighted in red. The bits you can, obviously not highlighted. So the armor is not as great. But it's certainly still strong, and also only having 8 rounds in a clip instead of 10 is definitely a major hindrance. But I still like the Panzer II anyway. As you can see, I've decked it out with everything. So yeah, I will thank you for watching, and goodbye.